Very good. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Buddha, the Blessed Noble, and fully self-awakened one. So I'm getting a little message here saying that the internet is unstable. So if I disappear, no worries, I shall reappear. A couple of moons ago, I was tackling the whole idea of social conditioning and how it becomes our karma. Oh, something wrong with the. Oh, okay, it's a funny sound. And how it becomes our karma in the sense that we have to take full responsibility for the conditioning that we've been given and try and sort it out. And then I tackle the problem of neoliberalism and how mindfulness was being used to further their agenda. And so the third thing to tackle, I think, which everybody's probably very concerned about, is the environment and social collapse. So I thought I'd just give a resume of where we are, if I can, and then just say how we can approach it. So in 2015, the first 9 months, global mean warming reached 1 degree centigrade above pre-industrial time. So that was an important moment, and of course it's continuing to climb. In the UK here, on the 19th of July, we passed 40 degrees, I think first time ever. And as you know, there's a huge drought at the moment all over Europe, and massive floods in Australia. I was talking to a friend out there. It peaked at 14.4 meters high. That's unbelievable. That's about 3 or 4 double-decker buses, isn't it? I can't believe the amount of water that must have been dropped. So anyway, these are all little signs preparing us for what's to come. And we're not seeing very much action about it. It reminds you a little bit about the Britain before the Second World War, where Chamberlain did his best to bring about peace for our time. He'd lived through the First World War. He just didn't want to see the horror of war again. But of course, he was duped really by Hitler, and he died shortly after he declared war. So at the moment, we've got all these terrible things going on, apart from Ukraine, China, and then there's a terrible incident in America, Salman Rushdie being stabbed. And it was quoting him saying that he was concerned about democracy in the US. So I think that's there as well. And I think perhaps most, or should we say most, really disturbing, let's put it that way, is the sort of general mood of the age, the sort of zeitgeist, slowly moving away from liberal democracy to illiberal democracy, in other words, fascism, some form of authoritarianism. And I think many people were shocked by this Orban, saying things like, we are not a mixed race and we do not want to become a mixed race. They are a mixed race. They're a combination of Huns, which were Mongoloid, and Turkic, the same people as Turkey. So I don't know what he's going on about. And then, of course, he then went on to say that countries where European and non-Europeans mingle are no longer nations. And then he went off to America to give a talk to his buddies. So the fact that somebody, that a head of state in the EU can actually say that, and obviously there've been many people who will support him. That's the thing. Really shows us where we're moving towards. And as these pressures grow, I'm reminded again of that poem by W.B. Yeats, The Second Coming, which I think I read one evening. And it's got this wonderful line: the best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. So, you just get the feel. And our reaction, well, my reaction anyway, I've been very gloomy. And I had 2 or 3 conversations where on both occasions, on 2 occasions, I had to get in touch with them again and apologize for being so gloomy about the situation. So it's a case, I think, of beginning to realize that, we have to see this situation from a spiritual point of view. And to deny it, to deny the thing, to sort of devote ourselves to sort of escapism, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or to become despondent and uncaring, disengaged. I mean, that's just going to lead to some sort of despair eventually, I think. There's, of course, the fear that grows in us and a sense of panic. So again, that can lead to even suicidal feelings. There was a case in 1938 where Orson Welles adapted the H.G. Wells War of the Worlds. And it began without telling anybody that it was a play. And it was done as if it was a real broadcast that the Martians had landed. And of course, people fled their homes. Lots of people fled their homes. Luckily, there wasn't anybody committed suicide. So that just shows what happens when, something grips a population. And in a sense, we've got to tackle these things within us. The other, of course, major feeling might be anger. And I thought I would read out the discourse, the Kakachupama Sutta, which translates as the simile of the saw. So the Buddha says, even if bandits were to carve you up savagely, limb from limb, with a 2-handed saw, he among you who let his heart get angered, even at that would not be doing my bidding. Even then you should train yourselves. Our minds will be unaffected and we will say no evil words. We will remain sympathetic, with a mind of goodwill and with no inner hate. We will keep pervading these people with an awareness imbued with goodwill, and beginning with them, we will keep pervading the all-encompassing world with an awareness imbued with goodwill, abundant, expansive, immeasurable, free from hostility, free from ill will. That's how you should train yourselves. Monks, if you attend, monks, by the way, just everybody, yeah? If you attend constantly to this admonition on the simile of the saw, do you see any aspect of speech, slight or gross, that you could not endure? No, Lord. Then attend constantly to this admonition of the simile of the saw. That will be for your long-term welfare and happiness. That is what the Blessed One said. Gratified, the monks delighted in the Blessed One's words. Now, I once read that out in a lecture, in a talk to people, and somebody said the Buddha had a great sense of humor. So it's very difficult for us to follow that command. But in fact, all these emotional states that we might suffer from, the sense of fear, of not wanting to face reality as the realities as they come, and of the anger, is really to ask ourselves, in what way is it helping? I mean, how does it help me? How does it help anybody else? So that immediately, hopefully, cuts through the catastrophizing, and just stay with the present moment, with what's actually happening. Even if, millions of people start to die from lack of food, from thirst with this drought and stuff like that, overheating. Even though that looks, from a total point of view, really quite apocalyptic, but we have to remind ourselves that we all die singly. We all die just ourselves. We're all alone when we die. And some will die in a very painful situation. Others will die in beatitude. So it's just recognizing that these are all still individual deaths. And again, we're stuck with, well, what can we do? You see, so you have to accept the sort of limits of our ability, of our power, and even of our influence. So beginning to see this whole situation as an opportunity for spiritual growth, then at least we know we can benefit from it, and really we might have to come to that awful realization that there's not going to be a cure for this situation, and that all we can do is care. It's a bit like when somebody has a progressive illness or a chronic or even a terminal illness. There's no cure for it. It's just that you have, but you can develop care. And that means friendship, and at times even rejoicing. And of course, definitely compassion. And that's really where our spiritual practice is taking us. And we have to look upon it, this growing situation as an opportunity for that. Otherwise, I can't see anything else but despair. So anyway, really, this talk is an introduction to the 6 forums that Noreen will be leading, based on those maxims, the 6 maxims that were sent as a tip in the last month by Schenck and Churchill. And I'm also going to email you an essay that was written by Gwen Sanderson. So she's actually one of our trustees, and she's very much involved in this whole business of climate change and social breakdown. And there's a whole study now, a university study on collapsology. So she went to a meeting and was able to sort of put that down for us in an essay. And we thought that once that was circulated, we would have a meeting on Zoom on the 12th of September. And it would just be an opportunity, really, for people to share their feelings, to explore their thoughts and feelings about this. So that's what will happen in the near future. So, the situation it will get worse, won't it? There's no way they're going to stop it. So it's a case of really looking into ourselves and making that special effort to see it from a spiritual angle, to see it from a place which is going to make us have that basic hope that there is an end to suffering and that we can actually achieve it. Anyway, I can only hope my words have been of some assistance, that they have not doomed you too much, and that you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that by your practice you will liberate yourself from all suffering sooner rather than later.